So welcome. Again, I'm talking to you about pottery and meditation, and in particular what pottery can teach us, because it is a very powerful teacher. I had a beautiful workshop here in Tala with a new kiln, which is fully automatic, much better than any of the old ones I've had over the years, where you have to watch them day and night and turn the knob up and see that it doesn't overfire. This was fully automatic. Program the firing, press the button, and see you tomorrow. And then a lovely wheel, and some people here surprised me by setting up this workshop for me about 4 or 5 years ago. So it was my pride and joy. I loved going down there. It's like another world, and it's a very contemplative place to go into. And you're surprised at times too by a firing that worked very well, or a few pots that you love to give to people because they came out better than you expected. So a delightful thing to do. On the 6th of January, in the morning, I discovered that it had been burnt down, burnt to the ground in an act of vandalism. A young man had set a fire behind it and under it, and everything was destroyed. The container itself, the area space itself, all the machinery. And there was other machinery too, like a CNC router, which carves text onto wood, and computer, and so on, a lot of equipment. And the whole thing was burnt to the ground, which was disappointing, a bit of a shock. But there are worse things. I thought they could have burned the priory down or the retreat center, so it's not the worst thing that could happen. And still it drains your energy. I wasn't angry, I was sad, but I wasn't devastated. I kept saying it could have been worse. But it was a bit of a cloud, and it was draining my energy. And I thought, what would I do? And then I thought one evening, I know what to do. I got a stool, and I went down into the building and sat there to meditate. Because my instinct told me that when something bad happens, you shouldn't run away, because the worst things that can happen have something to teach you, and perhaps much more. We learn more from our disappointments than we do from our successes. And I was sitting there meditating. It was very different from a meditation room. Instead of incense, there was the nauseating smell of a burnt building. Instead of things being arranged aesthetically around, everything was charred and black and ruined. And the windows had been blown out. And I was sitting there. I said, this is a good place to meditate, ground zero. Because in meditation, you start from where you are, no matter where that is. But I thought this was ground zero, but it wasn't quite ground zero yet, because to my surprise, who came to the window but the young man who had burnt it down? And he had no remorse whatsoever. On the contrary, he began to hurl abuse at me. He didn't know me, but all of us, a community living here. He had a very low opinion of the clergy, and he said some horrible things to me about them. So I said, yeah, this now must be ground zero. This is rock bottom. And that's the place to meditate. And I sat there. I went away then, and he left, so I came back. And I thought, maybe this is the best meditation room in the world. You sit down in the ruins, and life goes on. You breathe, life goes on. Nothing is helping you from the outside. You are thrown back into your spirit, and maybe that's a grace. So I confidently hope that that is a positive story in the end. Maybe there are no negative stories in the end, because in the end, God will be all in all. Yeah. And we live in Christian hope. And sometimes the lessons we get are very severe ones. But for all that, they may be the best ones of all.